Welcome everybody to Stop the Violence 2011. Today we have a special guest. We have Charity Lee with the Ella Foundation. A very tragic thing happened a few years ago that we'll be talking about, and just want to say hi and thank you, Charity, for coming. How you doing today?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's quite a big place and things going on here. How do you feel about it?
I'm a little nervous now. I was good until right now.
Well, we can do this. I just want to say thank you. You've been a dear friend of mine for many years now, and it's an honor to be here talking to you today after everything that's gone through. And I would like to let you speak about it right now.
Okay. I'm going to do mine a little different, I think, than some others have done. I believe a lot of the other people were being interviewed, and I actually have written something that I would prefer to share with you first, and then I believe Danny will do some questions after that. Normally I try to memorize my speeches, but this one is a little emotional for me. I have told my story before, but not here, not where Ella died. So forgive me if I need to pause from time to time. I'm sure I will cry. Feel free to cry yourself. I made a newscaster cry. I think I can make y'all cry. So I'd like to get started first with a poem by W.H. Auden. I've changed the pronoun he to she. Stop all the clocks, cut off the telephone, prevent the dog from barking with a juicy bone, silence the pianos and with muffled drum, bring out the coffin, let the mourners come. Let aeroplanes circle, moaning overhead, scribbling on the sky the message, she is dead. Put crepe bows round the white necks of the public doves. Let the traffic policemen wear black cotton gloves. She was my north, my south, my east and west, my working week and my Sunday rest. My noon, my midnight, my talk, my song. I thought that love would last forever. I was wrong. The stars are not wanted now. Put out everyone. Pack up the moon and dismantle the sun. Pour away the ocean and sweep up the wood, for nothing now can ever come to any good. My name is Charity Lee. Some of you may remember me as Charity Bennett. Most likely, if you remember me at all, you remember me as the mother of Ella Lee Bennett, the 4-year-old girl murdered by my son on February 4th, 2007 here in Abilene. I found this poem not long after Ella died. At the time, it expressed exactly how I felt about losing both of my children to violence. I believed my life was over and would never be worth living again. I thought I would never be able to feel or give love again. But that expression, time changes everything, it's true. I am not here to tell you what my son Paris did to Ella. I am not here to dwell on or expand upon the violence that was committed in our home that night, nor to tell you how my son is now. I am not here to rattle off statistics or regale you with stories of pain and loss. I am not here to tell you what you should do or how you should handle the senseless violence that daily destroys our lives, our families, our friends, our community, and our world. I am here to tell you how after I was forced to look violence in the face, I continued to live with love in spite of the horror violence showed me. I am here to show you what I learned and continue to learn from Paris and Ella about the nature and expression of unconditional love. I am here to tell you it is time to stop the violence. Because my son murdered my daughter, I know 4 facts to be true. 1, love does conquer all. I have seen it at work in my life and in the lives of countless others I counsel and support in their darkest moments. I'm sure you've heard it before, but I'm going to say it again because truth with a capital T deserves to be shouted off the rooftops as often as possible. Love begets love. Hate begets hate. Love is the only force powerful enough to conquer hate. If you want to live in a world free of hate and violence, stop being hateful. Learn to set aside your ego, your pride, and your judgments, and learn to flex your empathy muscles. Hold on. Learn to use your words wisely and for good instead of in anger and insults. Everyone in this room will suffer a traumatic event in their life. Everyone. Some of you may die because of one. Love for yourself and love for another is the only way to prevent and heal from this trauma. 2. I have nothing to hide and nothing to be ashamed of. Violence is so prevalent in this world and accepted in our culture that what happened to us can and may happen to any one of you in spite of your best efforts to prevent it. We are all an eye blink away from trauma. After Paris killed Ella, many people in my life and in this community put as much distance as they could between themselves and me. I was verbally attacked by people I had never met or seen in my life. People who assumed I must be evil because they thought my son was. People who assumed at best or at worst that I must be a closet criminal, or at best a horrible mother because of what my son chose to do. Communities I had once been part of now shunned me in my darkest hour and time of greatest need. Exactly 1 week before Ella was killed, I was at the breakfast table with my kids and opened the Abilene Reporter News to read the tragic story of Janie De La Paz. The first thought that popped into my head was, how horrible. The second, thank God that can never happen to us. I never once thought of reaching out to her family, never once thought to offer them my support, never once thought of doing anything to stop the violence in Abilene. My only thought was, how lucky I am that my kids are happy and whole. How lucky we are that that will never happen to us, that we will never face that kind of tragedy because we are somehow different from the De La Pazes. Because I used to be guilty of the same offense, I now understand why we distance ourselves from tragedy and shun those who have experienced it. Fear. Plain and simple fear. No one wants to believe that the horror that befell my family could happen to theirs. No one wants to believe that their Ella, their Janie, could be murdered. And no one wants to believe that their Paris can commit a murder. I am living proof that you should all believe it possible. Do not distance yourself from those in need. Do not shun those of us who have been traumatized. This only causes more pain. Ignoring the problem of violence will not make it stop at your doorstep. 3. Life is to be lived boldly. Ralph Waldo Emerson said it best. Do not be too timid and squeamish about your actions. All life is an experiment. I believe, after surviving the worst nightmare I've ever had, I have been called to be a healer of hearts and souls. Losing both of my children, being the mother to both a murderer and a murder victim, has only served to increase the amount of love and compassion I feel for each person I encounter. Every moment I have experienced thus far has led me to one unassailable belief. The most important thing I do in this life is to help anyone, and I mean anyone, to remember that life is meaningful. And no matter how untrue this may feel to them at the time, that they are meaningful to life. I have a mantra I live by: love, sacrifice, service. These three spiritual truths form the basis of my ethical code, my worldview, and they guide my exchanges with others. These truths transcend all boundaries of age, color, gender, sexual orientation, class, nationality, religion, language. We all have a story that deserves to be told, and we all have different ways of telling our stories. We all have moments we are unable to see the essential role we play in life. Whether we are blinded by choice or by chance makes no difference in our experience of being blind. At some point, we will all need a mustard seed of faith planted by our positive experience of another to continue to live our life the best we can and to grow in all of life's seasons. Stop worrying about what everyone will think of you. Stop worrying about the label on your shirt or the car that you drive. Stop worrying about keeping up with the Joneses. Focus the energy you waste on fear and worry on love instead. Imagine the world that we could live in if we could all do this. 4. The only reason I survived my personal hell is to accomplish 4 goals. To share my love and my family's story with anyone who needs it or is willing to listen. To offer my time and my heart to victims of family violence, or of all violence actually. To shake up the criminal justice system a bit. To actually go for some justice and humane treatment of those who do us harm rather than just punishment. And finally, to hold my daughter again. 4 years of holding Ella was not enough. On April 12th, 2011, what would have been Ella's 9th birthday, I created the Ella Foundation, a nonprofit based in San Antonio, Texas, dedicated to the prevention of violence through education, criminal justice reform, and victim advocacy. I created the Ella Foundation for one reason, self-evident. It can do more good than one woman alone. Personally, I have performed over 1,000 hours of service work for the San Antonio Police Department's Family Assistance Crisis Team and the Bexar County Family Justice Center. I have become what we in the field call a crisis interventionist. I accompany officers to crime scenes to offer on-site support and education to both the victims and the perpetrators of violent crime. I help train future FACT volunteers, and like today, I speak.